Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Tommy here from Saleslucky.com. So today's topic is going to be top down or bottom up. So what I mean by that is when you're looking to sell to a business or a B2B sell, business to business sell, oftentimes if it's a large organization or even if it's a small organization, a lot of times people don't know where to go within the organization. Should you start from the top, meaning like a senior level position, a CEO, VP, director, or should you go start with the bottom, meaning like a manager level or an individual contributor level, an end user level? And today we will be talking about that. Okay, there's benefits and drawbacks to going with both, and I'll mention those first, and then I'll talk about what the a general approach that you want to take is. Okay, so the benefits of going top down, going for the VP, CEO, or someone at a seniority level is that if you get that person on board, if you sell someone at the senior level, then they're going to have the power and pull to get other people involved as well, okay? For example, if you sell the CEO, if you call into the CEO and you sell the CEO and the CEO is like, heck yeah, you know, I want your product, I want your service, let's go. Well, then they might very well be able to make the decision to buy your product or service right there, and you're set, you're golden, okay? Uh, but then there's cons to that as well. So the cons to that is that if you go on a CEO level and you fuck up with the CEO, then you're gonna have a hard time getting your product in the door, because if the person at the very top says no to you, then you're gonna have a harder time at the end of the day trying to sell your product. So there's pros and cons to both of it as well. Now, let's say you get the CEO involved and you sold the CEO, but the CEO wants to make sure that your product is good, and you wants to make sure that if he buys it, that the people that are actually going to use it, meaning the people on the bottom, are actually going to be willing to use it and want to use your product, and that they're good, the end users are going to think that he wants to make sure that the end users are going to think your product is good and are actually going to want to use your product. So if you go in the top and you sell the CEO, then you're going to have a much easier time having the CEO convince his his employees at the bottom to use your product or service than if you went the other way around, okay? But there's pros to going bottom up as well. So what are the pros to that? Well, pros to bottom up is, in that example, if you go in the top, if you've messed it up with the CEO, or if you know for whatever reason, maybe with personal relationships, connections, or just like personal past preferences of products or services or suppliers that the CEO or I'm saying CEO, but this can go for VP, director, or anyone at a more senior level. If you know that that person has a predisposition to use your competitor, then it might be a good idea to go in at the bottom. Then from what you can do with that is you can go in the bottom, you can talk to the individual employees in the bottom, talk to these guys, because if they're going to be the end users, you want to sell them and sell them on your product, share with them how much easier their life is going to be with your product or service, what it's going to mean for them, how much time it's going to save them, or how it's going to benefit them. And then you can move up top. And the benefit to that is if you've got, let's say you're selling to a sales team and you've talked to 5, 6, or 7 of these team members, and they all want your product and they all think it's awesome, then if all 6, 7, or 8 of these guys go up and tell the manager or tell the sales director, hey, and they're clamoring like little kids, hey, we want this tool, it's going to help us out so much, then that director or manager is going to have a much easier time justifying that sell if all his employees are clamoring about this resource, okay? He's going to go to his boss or the CEO, whoever, and be like, hey, look, my team, Johnny, Bob, Sally, Derek, they all think that this is a great tool and it's going to help them in this, and this way. Let's let's go give this a shot, because you got to remember that the director making this decision or making this recommendation to the CEO or to whoever's making the ultimate sign off, that if every one of his employees is bought in and saying, let's buy this resource, then the director or the decision maker is not sticking out his or her neck to make this purchase. Because if this is like a 20, 30, 50, $100,000 purchase, and the director goes on a limb and says, let's buy this without the support of his team, and it doesn't work out, guess what's going to happen? The director is going to lose his job, or is going to be in a position that's not going to look good on him, okay, at the very least. So that's why sometimes going bottom up, or at the very least getting the support of the individual users of that team on board, is so important. Because then when the director goes to make that sale or make that purchase decision, he's not sticking his neck out. He can be like, look, guys, like every one of you guys said you guys wanted to buy this, so wasn't just me. It was all of our decisions. So he's not, his ass isn't on the line, you know what I mean? So with that said, the benefits of going top down are, you get the main guys on board, you get the people with power, the main decision makers on board, or the key stakeholders on board, and then it's much easier for the boss to be like, hey guys, I think this could be a good resource for us. Let's go ahead and check this out. Have everyone check this out. People are going to listen if the directions are coming from the boss, okay? The benefits to going bottom up is that if you know that the people at the higher ups are harder to reach, or they've got a predisposition to your competitor, you can infiltrate the bottom first and get those guys sold and get them all clamoring together and get excited about your product, and then have them go sell for you, okay? Now, to answer the question, is it better to go top down or bottom up? Generally speaking, it's going to be better going top down for the reasons I just mentioned, which are, if you get the top guys, if you get the decision makers, the key stakeholders on board at the top, and they're bought in, and they're bought into you, your company, and your resource, you as the salesperson are going to have a much easier time getting the boss to tell his employees to check out your resource and figure out if it's a good fit for them, than if you had an employee sold trying to convince the boss. It's going to be harder going bottom up than top down, because top down you can talk to one person, that person can tell his team to check out the resource. If you're going bottom up, it's going to be harder, because you're going to have to rally a group of people together, get a group of people sold, and then have them band together to sell their boss, okay? So generally speaking, it's better top down than bottom up. And however, it obviously depends on the context and the situation at hand. With that said, you're going to have to figure out what that is depending on the context, okay? Generally speaking, it's better to go top down than bottom up, but there is benefits of going bottom up as well. But in general, if you're selling to a large organization where it's not just a team of 4, 5, 6, 7 people and you can talk to the CEO and they can buy a resource, if you're selling to a Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 company where there's hundreds of people in a department, if not thousands, then you might not, I would still recommend going top down, generally speaking, but you're not going to go for the very top. You're not going to go for the CEO at a Fortune 500 company. You're going to go somewhere in the upper middle area, like a senior director, or maybe a VP, or maybe just a director of sales or director of IT. Because the reason for that is because in a large organization, you're going to target someone you can target someone in the upper middle area, because that person, let's say the director or the VP, is close enough to the decision makers. It might be an SVP, or could even be the CEO, depending on the size of the company. Okay, they're going to be close enough to the decision makers that you're going to be in a good position, because the SVP is going to listen to the senior director, because they're going to be close enough. Okay, the director is going to have enough power to go speak to the SVP, and the SVP is going to really take that opinion to heart. But at the same time, the director is also close enough to guys at the bottom. They're close enough to the managers and the individual contributors to where this director can go down here and say, hey guys, okay, let's check out this tool. I think it could be good for us. Let's see if it is good for us, and have them evaluate that. So in a large organization, you might go for somebody at the upper middle level, where they have access to the guys at the very top and they have access to the guys in the bottom, and it'll be easy to reach both of those areas. So hopefully you guys got value out of this video. Hopefully that made sense. Feel free to drop a comment, subscribe, and look forward to helping you guys more. And let me know what you guys are looking for, okay, in these videos. Comment below. Let me know where you guys are getting stuck at, whether it's a strategy thing, a tactic thing, or a mindset thing, and I'll do my very best to help you guys, okay? All right. As always, talk soon. Bye, guys.